Good morning everybody, thanks for coming back. It's another week and another opportunity for me to answer the questions that you've been sending me recently. But first, this little thing here, that's my award for winning the 220 Triathlon Coach of the Year for the third year in a row. And I'm not showing you that to boast, I'm showing you that because I wanted to say thank you for your support. If you voted for me, I really appreciate it. And for those athletes who are part of my SWAT program and who I coach regularly, thank you to you too, because coaches cannot do anything without the support of their athletes, and good athletes make coaches look good. So thank you very much to everybody who supports me regularly and sticks with me. So anyway, enough of that. On to today's video. So I'm just going to disappear now and I'm going to go to the slides and you'll hear me keep talking. So here's today's question. It's from Claire. Claire asked me, I'm a crap swimmer despite training 3 times a week. Sadly, a lot of people have an opinion of themselves as being crap swimmers, and she says, I struggle to get under 2 minutes for any length of time. I'm a reasonable cyclist and by now I'm a semi-respectable runner. The swim's eating into my bike run time. I presume that's the training. At this point in the year, that is now in April, training for a summer-autumn races, would I recommend more work on her limiter, i.e. swim, or just keep it consistent and work at bike run gains, as I'm more like to gain more time doing that? Well, Claire, actually, I did answer this a couple of weeks ago and I got into a lot of trouble because my suggestion was that you should work on gaining time in your strengths and be happy with the current swim pace that you have. Now, I'm not going to suggest that you stop working on your swim. You need to keep doing that, but I can show you and explain some different ways of working on your swim that you can implement in the next few months, which are going to be more specific to your race and help you out more on race day. So here goes. Firstly, let me just tell you that 2 minutes per 100, which is what you said you thought made you a crap swimmer, is okay. If you were able to hold that pace for 3.8k, that will give you 75 minutes. I think that's right, 76 minutes actually. It will be about 38 minutes for a half Ironman. Okay? Of course, there are people who will swim faster, but there are also people who can't swim there. I would say that's probably about an average pace. So don't beat yourself up too much about the time. What I would be focusing on though is developing your skills to help you with this ambition that you've quoted. I'm aiming to survive the waves, so I'm assuming that you're doing a sea swim or that you know it's going to be a very rough lake swim. But you also say you want to make it onto the bike and not spend 6 to 7 hours puking salt water. So I'm making an assumption here that you are doing a race that has sea swimming. Okay, so let's make the focus of this the focus of your swimming going forward. Here are my hints. Firstly, develop open water skills. You can do this in the pool. You can work on sighting, you can work on drafting, you can work on being comfortable in breathing to both sides. You know, if you're swimming one way and the waves are coming at you from the right, you need to breathe to the left. But it's likely that there's going to be a time in that swim when you're swimming the other way and the waves are going to be coming on your left side and then you need to breathe to the right. So you need to develop skills to be comfortable breathing to both sides. A higher cadence is always more beneficial in open water. A slow cadence with perhaps a glide at the front of the stroke creates a dead spot, and if you just happen to hit a wave or you're swimming into a current, then that dead spot is going to mean you're going backwards. So you're having to constantly accelerate. It's just more energy sapping. I'd also suggest trying to work on your group swimming skills, just being comfortable with people around you. Now, you can do this in the pool, you can go to the lake, but if you're swimming in the sea, you need to get down to the ocean at some point during the summer to get comfortable with the specifics of being in that sort of environment. Obviously the waves that you mentioned, the tide and the currents and the rip currents, so you need to ask the lifeguards about the rip currents and the tides at certain times of the day. Make sure you look at the tide times so that you know what the tide is like. If it's the point in between when a tide is turning, then you'll get slack water. But if it's halfway between that, you'll get much stronger currents. So you need to know that. And the local lifeguards are the best people. I'd also suggest that wearing a wetsuit in the sea is going to affect your buoyancy somewhat, because the sea will make you more buoyant. Add to that the rubber of the wetsuit, you'll be a lot higher in the water, so you need to become used to that change in body position. And you might find that if you're a kicker, your feet are on top of the water and your kicking's less effective. Okay, so you can practice all of the things I mentioned earlier: sighting, drafting, breathing, etc. Back in the pool, for your fitness, that doesn't mean you're going to be content with just swimming at that pace of 2 minutes per 100, but I have heard this comment from swimmers before, and often when you dig a bit deeper you find that there's not a lot of high intensity work in there. So I'd suggest doing some very, very high intensity intervals, maybe 25s or 50 at almost maximal pace, with long recoveries. Get used to swimming at that higher pace, and also think about what your goal race pace is. Try to swim sustained intervals at that pace, and hopefully that will be what you need if you're consistent 3 times a week over the summer to get you in good shape for your race, which is coming up. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Claire, and for all those of you who are in a similar boat, wondering whether they should spend more time on the swimming or more time on the biking and running, just change the focus of your swimming, and as Claire said, make the big gains on the bike and run. Alright, that's it for the moment. I'll be back on Friday with another answer to one of your questions, but until then, have a good week.